So in my last video I talked about why it's important that you express yourself, why it's important that you bring up stuff that bothers you with the people you're close to, especially in order to not resent them and to make sure that you can have a good relationship with them. But that can be a problem if you're afraid that bringing up a conflict will make them angry at you or will make them sad, or it's something that you might not be able to solve, and essentially something that will have some negative consequences for that relationship. Then obviously you're not going to want to bring up that conflict, even though it might be very, very important. In this video I'll cover how you can talk about the stuff that's bothering you with the people that you're close to in relationships, and do it in a way so it doesn't offend the other, so it can be a productive conversation. And so before you even begin talking with the other person, before you begin bringing up the stuff that's bothering you, you want to get really, really clear on what it actually is, what the core of what's bothering you really is. And so if you're in a relationship and you're angry at the person for breathing or talking, very often it's not really that's the problem. It's something below the surface that's really bothering you so much that you'll be resentful even when you see the other person breathing or talking. And so you want to get really, really clear on what it is that's really bothering you, what the main problem is. And this is also where you want to be very vulnerable with yourself and honest with yourself. Because, for example, if you're in a relationship with a guy and you see him talking with other girls, and you're angry at him because you think that he's flirting with other girls, is it really the problem that he's talking with other girls, or is the problem maybe that you're getting insecure when you see it because you're afraid that he'll like them more than he likes you? And so you want to get really clear with yourself about what it is that's really bothering you and what it is that you're really feeling, because it's always something to do with you. If you're getting triggered, then there's something within you that's getting triggered, that's getting sad, that's getting angry. And so that leads us into the main way that you want to bring up the stuff that's bothering you, the conflict, is that you don't want to attack the other person. And so let's take the same example and say that your boyfriend is talking with other girls and it's bothering you because you feel insecure about it. You feel afraid that he'll like them more than he likes you and essentially dump you and start being with them or something like that. Or you're afraid that he's cheating on you. Then what you need to bring up is not, hey, you're taking these actions, you're talking with these girls and that's fucked up, you shouldn't do that stuff, that's not cool, that's respectless. Because what the problem is really is that you're afraid, and so you want to talk to him and say, hey, when I see you talking with other girls, I'm getting insecure, I'm afraid that I'll lose you actually. And so that's really, really a crucial difference. There's a book called Crucial Conversations that's really going in depth with this topic. And it's shocking how many divorces are actually just caused by unclear communication, by one person attacking the other instead of telling them what they're afraid of, what their fear is and what's bothering them, then attacking the other person. Because if you enter a conversation and straight away you're making the other person your opponent and you're attacking them, then obviously they'll be in defense mode and they'll feel like you're blaming them. And so in order for them to not feel shitty, they need to blame you back. And then it just becomes a conflict and it becomes a fight and it's just back and forth. Whereas if you're on the same side, if there's a problem, being your fear, being that you're scared, if that's the problem, then you can attack the problem together with the other person as a team. So it's a very, very important and crucial difference there. So if you're with someone, boyfriend, a girlfriend, a friend, a coworker, and you feel like the way they're talking to you, they're not really valuing your opinion, they're not taking you serious, instead of saying to them, hey, the way you're talking to me is fucking shitty, it's not respectful, and I think that you're really an asshole for talking to me in that way, then tell them, hey, it's really important to me that you're taking my opinion serious, and sometimes when you're talking to me, I get a little bit afraid that might not be the case, because this way that you're saying this or that thing that you're saying makes me a little bit scared if that's really the case, or if you don't think that my opinion is important to you. And so there's a very, very big distinction there. It's a very big distinction between attacking them and talking about the problem, talking about the fear, talking about the feeling and emotions that you're experiencing. Because if you use the latter example and you tell them, hey, it's important to me that you take my opinion serious, and sometimes I'm afraid that that's not the case because of the way you're communicating, so I just want to make sure that my opinion matters to you. You know, first of all, they'll be a huge asshole if they'll say, no, your opinion doesn't matter to me, and then you can take it from there. But most likely they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. I'll try to communicate in a way so that's not the case, and I can assure you that your opinion do matter to me. And so there's a very, very big distinction between attacking them and talking about your emotions. And so if you were to just talk about your emotions, it would be a lot easier to get the conflict handled because the other person doesn't feel attacked. Finally, if you're a person with people-pleasing tendencies and you're taking up the courage to actually have a conversation about something that's been bothering you, taking up a conflict with someone, you want to be very aware and very assertive that you're not making the problem seem smaller than it is just to avoid the conflict. And so you want to make sure also that as soon as you get a little bit form of acknowledgement of them maybe stepping on your toes or mistreating you, that you don't just throw it all away and say, oh, all forgiven now. Because that's something that you'll be very keen to doing if it's very uncomfortable for you to take up a conflict or to bring up something that's been bothering you. And so you want to make sure that you don't change the topic from what's been bothering you until it really is cleared all up and all of it is out, and you feel at peace at whatever issue it is that you had with that person. So if you have someone in your life and you feel like there's something between the two of you, or there's a conflict or something that's been bothering you, I hope that this video will help you to know how you can bring up that topic with them, and that you can use this to make sure that it's a productive conversation. And thank you for watching.